All right, hello Capstone students. I just wanted to send a quick video announcement to just highlight really what I'm looking for in this second week as you're thinking through your professional philosophy. So in the learning module, I have highlighted some things that I think are helpful for you to look at as you're really starting to develop the framework or this professional statement, if you will, based on really what your long-term goals are. And then I thought I would share a personal example because a lot of students will ask me, like, what is the value in me actually doing this? Why is this beneficial? And I wanted to give a real life example. So here is my teaching philosophy. And this was created when I applied for promotion here at the college. So as a professor, you apply for different ranks through the process for different titles. And so when I applied for rank and promotion, I did have to create this statement that really talks about why I do what I do. And so you can see I've labeled it my teaching philosophy. And the way in which I chose to break this down was to really provide this high level overview, right? So really just from a surface level, what are those things that I genuinely believe in when it comes to teaching and educating here at CWI? So you can see I've created some bullet points. I've started with a general statement and then created some bullet points that really emphasize some of that overview piece. Now, as I moved through this, I also talked about the evaluation component because within my teaching, I think that evaluation piece is critical. It really helps me know whether or not I am teaching the material that students want to be taught. Obviously, we are bound by the curriculum in which we teach, and so ensuring that I'm maintaining the integrity of the course and the curriculum and those sorts of things, but also finding some ways in which I can incorporate that curriculum into a course and then solicit feedback throughout the semester, right? So not just at the end of the semester when we evaluate a class, but certainly throughout the semester as well. So what are those checkpoints that I'm doing along the way to make sure that students are engaged and understanding what I'm talking about? And then really just ended it. So I tried to keep it to a page. This is really nothing that needs to be super, super intense, but is something that should, again, talk about philosophically why you are thinking about doing what you're doing. So I would encourage you, if you're an animal science major, maybe talk about, if you come up into this overview, like what led you to this field of interest. So certainly you can tell a story. And then if you want to bullet point some of those things, like maybe you're really interested in large animals. And what is it about large animals that you're specifically interested in? Those bullet points could also include like that ability to serve as a voice for a species that otherwise doesn't necessarily have that verbal voice, if you will. That ability to make connections with the community and the people that you serve might be a part of your philosophy. That lifelong learning component, so learning new techniques and constantly being at the cusp of something different could be super exciting for you as an animal science major. If you're looking at something in the ag business realm, so maybe you're thinking about being an ag lender, right? So maybe it's that ability to make connections with your customers, right? So being able to deliver a product that otherwise they may have not had the ability to learn like what that product was, how they could reach that end goal, and that ability to support and communicate along the way might be a piece of your philosophy. So I really want you to think about that. I want you to think about it under the umbrella or within the framework of my long-term goal is fill in the blank, right? So my teaching philosophy, my long-term goal was to be an educator. And so thinking about what that means to me and how I approach the classroom, how I approach my interactions with my students and other faculty that I work with are all things that really play into what that philosophy is. The other thing that you're going to notice out there for week 2 is to make sure that you go ahead and get your discussion board started. So I really want you to start thinking because, as I mentioned in week 1, by week 6, we need to have you placed in an internship. So I want you to start thinking about first, where do you see yourself, right? So is that in a vet clinic? Is that in an animal shelter? Is that with a ag lender with an extension agency? Is that with a nonprofit doing some kind of agricultural work or a commodity group? I want you to start telling me that story. So where do you see yourself? And what types of things have you started to do in order to try to secure an internship or some time spent with somebody in that industry? That really helps me know what legwork you've done and if we're close to securing something or if you and I need to meet individually. I'll schedule a Zoom appointment and we can talk about some avenues that you could explore as we start to navigate towards week 6 and that internship placement piece. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please shoot me a quick email or drop into my office hours. Otherwise, your week 1 material is graded. Your week 2 materials are due by Monday, so just make sure that you get those submitted on time. And if you do have questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know sooner rather than later. I hope you have a fantastic week.